Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Before we get into today's video, if you could just hit that big red button down below, that would massively help me out. But today's video is going to be about Noah Sadiki. Now, Noah Sadiki, as you can see from the graphic here, is a 20-year-old central midfielder from Union Saint-Gilloise in the Belgian First Division. That team did just win the Belgian First Division, and Noah Sadiki was a big part of that, playing in their number 8 role, box-to-box midfielder with a great ball-carrying ability is kind of the strap line for Noah Sadiki. Like I said, 20 years old, apparently an asking price of around £10 million. At the moment, Leeds may have, we've heard differing reports, but may have lodged a bid for £8.5 million, which is about 10 million euros. Hence, down in the bottom corner there, we've got the value. So for me, the price is 10 million. The value is 5 stars because I think you're getting a very, very good player for that value. And by the end of the video, you'll see why. I also think that I've gone for 5 stars on the system as well, because whilst he's not the same kind of profile as Joe Rothwell, he does provide that ability to get forward a lot, to carry the ball, but also somebody who's really good at keeping it as well, which you do need in the Premier League. In terms of his potential, I've gone for 4 star out of 5. Now, the only reason I haven't given 5 star, you might think it's a bit harsh to not give him 5 star for potential. He's only 20 years old. He's played a lot of games in the Europa League. He's played in the Belgian First Division for a while now. The reason I haven't given 5 stars is because he's not proven in the Premier League yet. So you haven't had that ability to say, okay, he's played in a top league and he's done it for a prolonged period of time and succeeded at doing that. So I do think it's important to note that yes, he will have a high ceiling. I really do think he will, but we can't guarantee that at the moment, given the fact that he's not played in a top 5 league. So when we actually get talking about Noah Sadiki then, what kind of player is he? Now, we've got some clips a little bit later in the video that we're going to do some analysis on, but for now, we're just going to talk about the kind of profile of player he is then. He's got a great work rate. When I watched him, I've done a little bit of watching him in the Ajax game in the Europa League, and there was a lot of time where he just did not stop moving. He was always on the move, never stops running off the ball, trying to create space and trying to win the ball back when they don't have the ball as well. When his team does have the ball, his movement is always to drop in, find a pocket of space. He always seems to be able to be in a decent amount of space to receive the ball, which is really, really good. Because, and kind of hand in hand with this, he always seems to be switched on. He's not kind of one of those players who's like, I mean, a few years ago we saw it with the Leeds team. There was moments where Leeds were pressing and someone would go, oh yeah, I'm meant to be part of that as well. Whereas Noah Sadiki seems to be joining in the press, not leaving gaps, and always tracking his runners as well, which is very important in the Premier League. Despite this kind of what the statistics say on his tackles, he knows how to time a tackle well. 1.78 tackles per 90 puts him in the 32nd percentile for central midfielders. But he doesn't tackle that often because he's kind of one of those players who always drifts in and out of space. He has a holding midfielder to kind of help him out with that, and he's the guy that actually is the ball progressor. So it's not necessarily something that we need to be too worried about on that. Like I said before, in terms of finding space, he often drops in. So what we've seen from Ampadu, what we've seen from other players as well, he'll drop into that space in between the kind of midfield and the defence and be an option to receive the ball all the time. He doesn't get given it often at Union Saint-Gilloise in those positions, but he is always available to receive that ball in those positions, which I think is important, and especially going into the Premier League, it would be as well if we were to sign him. When we're talking about getting forward, this is where he kind of comes into his own. He's really athletic. He receives and gives passes very accurately in the final third, when we look at his statistics based on that, his progressive passes received in the final third is 4.6 per 90, which puts him in the 93rd percentile. So completed passes that move the ball towards the opponent's goal line at least 10 yards from its furthest point in the last 6 passes. So is he receiving the ball in the final third? Yes, he's doing it a lot. How much is he touching the ball in the opposition penalty area? 1.97 per 90 puts him in the 87th percentile. So again, top 13% there. And his progressive passes and progressive aggressive carries are up at 5.27 passes per 90 and 1.75 carries per 90, putting him in the 86th percentile there as well. The other thing to note, and I always like to have a look at this based on what we were just talking about there with his passing and receiving accurate balls in the final third, his shot creating actions, 2.71 per 90, puts him in the 66th percentile. So the two offensive actions leading directly to a shot, such as passes, take-ons, and drawing fouls. So he could be fouled, someone take the free kick, then someone head it, and he would still be given a shot creating action. But with Noah Sadiki, it's more like he's playing those little tight into passes, and eventually someone's having a shot from those. So he is really helping out in those attacking forward areas. So I think that's important to note as well. Like I said, he's a great ball carrier. He doesn't give the ball away. He's often plays the ball first or second touch, very fast. Just get the ball, play it off. Get the ball, play it off. And whilst you say, okay, well, that's a little bit Forshaw-like, he does the progressing as well, which is the difference here, I think. His injury record this season has been fantastic. He's missed one game in 55 this season. Now, also, maybe a little bit worrying that fatigue might start to come in because he's played 55 games in one season. And there's a lot of qualifying rounds for European competitions. And then they won the Belgian Cup, so they went all the way in that. And then they won the Belgian League as well. Not missing hardly any over the whole season is fantastic though, and like I said, he's box to box, so he would be the kind of the Rothwell replacement. So let's have a look now at the clips that I've picked out for Noah Sadiki. So the first clip here, he gets the ball, receives it from the throw-in, and you can see that he's scanning already, and the moment he scans, he realizes that his forward is there to receive the ball. When he passes it into them, he knows that he has to make a move, and you can see that the defender is on the half turn, or actually on the full turn, so he's got no way he's going to get near him, and his actual run puts him in so much space inside the box that he's actually pretty much on his own in there. And if the player, the forward that he's given the ball to, can pick him out, which he can, it opens up the space for him to take out 3 players in that move, all of which are now completely out of it, and then he goes to take a shot from an angle and the goalkeeper saves. But you can see there from his movement, his willingness to play those interpasses and to get forward, that he would really suit Leeds in those positions, especially drifting out to the wing and drifting out to those half spaces, because that allows your wingers to overlap and underlap. And I do think as well, the video I talked about Jakob Bijol the other day about playing 3 at the back, if you've got a central midfielder who can go wide and help out with those wide positions as well, that can also help you if you are going to play 3 at the back. The second clip then we're looking at is him driving forward, this time on the left-hand side. When he looks up ahead of him, he's got 2 options. He's got one out wide and one in the centre, but there is a lot of room in that half space for him to want to run into. So that's the kind of move that he can see before it happens. He gives it out wide, then he tries to make that run into that half space. You can see the curve run as he goes in there, and as he picks himself up in the box, he actually stops for a second, drops off, and it gives him so much space. If the player could have picked him out there, he would have had a better chance of scoring than what the striker had. But the striker goes and turns and has a shot, but Sadiki doesn't give up on it, which I think is important as well. He goes and tries to get the ball on the second chance there, but he doesn't quite manage to get it. But you can see that the intention is there, and it's really the hunger that you want to see from a player. This final clip then is again picking the ball up out on that left-hand side, and again it's going to be about using that half space and coming into it. You can see as he heads towards the box, again those are his 2 options, the forward or the winger. He plays it in, tries to go and get the ball back, and instead he thinks, oh, the ball's gone wide, but instead he still follows it in and then puts it in the back of the net. That goal was given offside, but he wasn't offside. It was his teammate that was offside, but the move demonstrates how well he can do that role of carrying the ball forward and being part of those attacking moves. So I think it's important to note that he's not going to be the complete article. At 20 years old, signing for around £8.5 million to £10 million, he is going to be somebody who may take a little bit of time to bed in. Like you saw in the little card at the start, he's only 5'8", so he could be somebody who gets bullied around a little bit, but doesn't necessarily mean that. We've seen diminutive midfielders in the Premier League before, and I think there are some comparisons to Kante in terms of stature, in terms of his ability to drive with the ball. And I do think as well, he fits the mould a little bit of what we're looking for in Habib Diarra as well, like I said at the start. So I think that he is somebody who fits Leeds down to a T and is definitely the player profile that Leeds are looking for in these situations. Can you go and get forward? Can you help out with the attack? And can you also be somebody who's solid in midfield, able to pass the ball around and able to be a good midfield option as well when you are trying to retain possession? Carrying the ball like he does is so important in the Premier League to relieve the pressure on your own team. And I think somebody like Noah Sadiki could be a great outball for Leeds. Let me know what you think of Noah Sadiki and the style of this new editing and stuff down in the comments below. Thanks for watching Leeds Lately, and I'll see you in the next one.